going on, race fans? Welcome back to the channel. This is our 2022 recap video. It's also the video where I tell you how much money I made racing. I kept track of all my races. I got all my envelopes here and payouts. I already took the money out of it because I needed to buy parts this year. So that I didn't get to do it like that, like I did last year. But I still got the envelopes anyway, so it gave me a good track. I did 20 races this year, which is kind of low, but we went to 20 races at 10 different tracks. I ran the entire dirt car 358 series, and I did a full complete season at Mohawk. I didn't miss any races. All the ones that I tried to attend, I made it to. I did 2 non-sanctioned races. I did one at Airborne at the beginning of the year, Airborne, Plattsburgh, New York. And I went to Devil's Bowl in September. I think it was Labor Day weekend. They have the Vermont 200. I attempted to qualify with my sportsman car. So we'll get right into it. The first race of the year was Fulton Speedway for the dirt car series. It was a brand new track. I never went to it and I struggled. I spun out a couple times and I did not qualify. So we didn't get paid for that one. You don't get paid to race at the dirt car series. You have to make it into the show. You have to be top 26 make it into the race, and then they take 4 provisionals. The provisionals come from the top 15 in points from the previous year. So I kind of missed out on that. I didn't run the series the year before, so I didn't have no provisionals. So I worked hard all season. I tried to make it every race, and now we're gonna put ourselves in a provisional spot at the end of the year. The second race I did was Plattsburgh Airborne Speedway. This was the first race back for the 358 modifieds. They had 2 of them last year. I only made it to the first one. I broke in the heat race, broke a drive shaft, and worked hard and got back into the feature. I made it into the feature just barely. The cars were already out on the track by the time I had my car ready. I was just putting my helmet back on and they were still underneath tightening up bolts. I ended up starting tail end of the field and I ended up 13th place. So I ended up passing cars. The car was doing really well. It hooked right up and I was really surprised, and it was just an awesome turnout for my first race back at Airborne. It's my first race in the 358 at Airborne. I had a great time. It was fun. I wish I would have been able to run up there some more. I ran weekly at Mohawk. That was my home track for this year, was Mohawk. I ran 9 races, actually 10 races at Mohawk. We'd had the regular season started in May and it went to September. They had a mini series for Mohawk that was 4 races. It was 40 laps apiece in the mini series. They were spread out throughout the year. And then they had 5 regular 30-lap races. I started off the season awesome at Mohawk. The car hooked right up and I was fast. I was running the faster W16 cars that ran at Mohawk. It was hard to catch up to the leaders. They all had the open motor and they just were able to overpower all of us going down the straightaways. I did feel like we could catch up to them in the corners, but they would just pull away so much in the straightaways that we couldn't really compete with them. But every week I tried to beat the other W16 cars. That was kind of my goal, and my goal going into the season was to make it to every race and finish every race. I wanted to be as consistent as I could and finish every race. I wasn't exactly able to pull it off. During the longer distance races, the 40-lap races, I ended up one of the nights during my heat race, I put a hole in my radiator and I was only able to do a start and stop. And it got me, did not finish. I did 1 lap in the feature just to get paid. And then I had to pull off to save the motor. During the 40-lap races, I ended up 15th, 18th, 19th, and 26th. So I wasn't really too strong during the longer races. The regular season, the regular 25-lap races, I seemed to do a lot better at. I had 2 8th place finishes to start the season, and then I finished 5th. and then another 8th and a 9th. That was regular season racing, so I was able to get top 10s. 5th place was my best finish ever in a modified, in the 358 modified division. I had dirt car series. I had a couple races. We'll start at Fulton. That did not qualify. I think the next one was Can-Am, which is another one that I didn't really have a lot of practice at, and I couldn't really get my car to hook up. I was a lot closer on the gear this time. I did not qualify for that. I missed that by a few spots. Actually, I think I was pretty close to qualifying. I think I missed it by 1 or 2 spots. Thunder Mountain, I made the race. I ended up finishing 17th. That was 60 laps. It was dusty. I did wreck up. That was my only wreck up of the year. And even though I wrecked up, I was still able to finish. The car stayed together. It was just minor body work. It was just the way I kicked the car sideways. I couldn't really see what was in front of me. But I finished 17th. I made $275 for making that race and finishing that. I went to Brockville at the beginning of last season. It was a makeup race from 2021. It was just a makeup 100 lap race, and I ended up finishing 19th for that. I think my next race after that was Mohawk. Mohawk would have the next series race. That was in September. That was a 21st place finish in the dirt car series. So the whole season I raced at Mohawk, from May to September, I ended up 6th place in points for my rookie season in the 358 at Mohawk. That was awesome. Just pulled off, try to get consistent finishes and try to get as far forward as I can. It's really important to finish the races. I mean, that's half the battle, is just finishing, showing up, finishing, and then putting yourself in a good position at the end. I'm really proud of that 6th place finish. It's unbelievable to think about it that I was able to make it up that far. The end of the year became kind of, after the dirt car race at Mohawk, I ended up blowing my motor. The end of the year, I kind of struggled a little bit. My handling was off. I started finding some broken parts and worn out parts, and I tried to get them fixed. And then just a couple of unfortunate problems. The W16 motor that I had for the past 2 years ended up blowing up at the lap 55 of 60 in the Mohawk Dirt Car Series. So it was kind of a struggle to find another motor. I did find one, and I decided to go for one of the better motors, a spec motor. I paid a hefty price for it. I put it in the car. I worked all week because it was only a week away to go to Super Dirt Week. My first race was at Weedsport, and I did not qualify. So I made it there. I got points for showing up anyways. I tried. The car didn't handle good. We went there thinking it was going to be a slick track. Somebody set up my car for me, and we thought it was going to be real slick like usual, and it was pretty tacky, and my car didn't turn that well. Had a really bad push. The next night was Brewerton, and it was another did not qualify. I kind of switched the setup a little bit, leaning towards what I was regularly running, and it actually drove pretty good. Brewerton was actually one of my better tracks. I still did not qualify, but I got a lot closer than the other tracks. The next night was Oswego. I did the heat races, and I didn't do too well in the heat races. I think I finished like 16th or 19th. I had to go through the last chance showdown on Saturday, and that put me, I ended up finishing 13th in the last chance showdown. A couple cars wrecked up, and I ended up blowing my motor. So I didn't make the race anyways. 4 people needed provisionals. I was in a provisional spot. I was in the top 15 by the time I got to Oswego. But I didn't make the race anyways. So I ended up blowing up the good spec motor. I only got like 75 laps out of it since I've owned it. The guy I bought it from said he had 450. It was supposed to be the best of the best motor. It looked pretty nice. It came with a lot of nice parts. But I only got 75 laps out of it, so I wasn't very happy. It was cool to feel what the horsepower difference was. Like, I would hit the gas and the car beside me would be the same speed as me. So that was really awesome. If the car turned a lot better, it would have been awesome. I wish I could have brought that motor to Mohawk to see if I would have had a shot against them. because I had the car hooked right up at Mohawk. I thought I never had really any troubles at the beginning of the year. A couple of little issues during the ending, but it would have been cool to check that out. The last race of the season was Brockville, and I ended up finishing 18th place. I made the feature. Actually, I had to use a provisional. I got in, but I finished 18th, 100 laps at Brockville, and kept my car clean. And that's all I can ask for over there, is just no damage. And basically what I was going for is just finishing races, make it in the race and finish. It's just so important to finish. And I try not to get no dents in my car, no flat tires, no scratches, because I think that's the most important thing, especially in my rookie season. I'm just trying to keep my car in a nice straight line, hold my line, try to gain some respect from the other drivers. I'm not trying to be all over the place and run into them or stuff like that. And I think that's really important. A lot of people, you won't really see that, especially in the sportsman class. The sportsman's was really rough. So I'm gonna get into the money stuff here. Airborne, I got $225 for 13th. Devil's Bowl for the sportsman, it cost me $100 to sign up. They gave me the $100 back. Brockville, I made $300 Canadian each time I went. Thunder Mountain, I finished 17th and I made $275. Oswego, I didn't qualify, but they gave me $200, which was how much it cost me to get in there. Mohawk doesn't charge to race, but their average payouts were 8th place was $300, 19th place was $200, 15th place was $225, 18th was $225. What's this one? Dirt Car Series was $250. 5th place was $400. And 9th place was $275. 8th place was $300. So if you add all those together, including the Devil's Bowl race and the Airborne race, the whole season I made $3,450 American, $600 Canadian. So I made more money doing 20 races in the modified than I did doing 30 races in the sportsman last year. I think I almost doubled what I made last year. It doesn't really cost a lot more to race the modified. I think the initial expense would be the most. If I had bought in one of the more expensive motors, but because I bought a W16, I bought it used, but the one I got 2 years out of the motor, I paid $9,000 for that W16, but it came with a carburetor, it came with an exhaust, it came ready to go. You couldn't even get a 602 Sportsman crate motor for that price. I priced out a new crate motor and it was like $11,500 if you put the exhaust, carburetor, all the pulleys and all that stuff. And then if you wanted the best of the best, it was looking like $13,500. So I found it a little bit cheaper to run the modified. The track is always a whole lot better because it's still tacky, so I didn't really burn up any tires. I don't think I burnt up any tires this year. I did have a couple flats, which was kind of random. It seemed like every time I bought a new tire, it would go flat, it would get a pinhole in it. That's racing, that's what happens. Nothing we can do about it. I didn't really go through no body panels or bumpers. When you're racing with the modifieds, the drivers are so clean, they keep their cars, you can race side by side with them and you don't have to worry about wrecking your car. So that saves a lot of money. In the sportsman division, you would see the green light come on and cars just kick it sideways and they're slamming right into you. I don't know if they didn't care, but I guess a lot of the sportsman guys are kids too, and they don't have to buy their own parts. Their parents buy them their parts. So I guess that would have an effect on it. They'll just drive right into the side of you. They don't even care. You would always burn up tires more in a sportsman because the track was always super slick and you would have to sipe them like crazy to find grip just to be competitive. And so that would have an effect on it. So I didn't use up as much tires as I do in the sportsman. Gas or race fuel is the same price. It was $15 a gallon this year. So race fuel is the same for the modified as it is in the sportsman. So all in all, I would say the the 358 was cheaper to run this year with the W16. If I had a spec motor, which I did, it would be exponentially a lot more than the Sportsman. Spec motors run anywhere from 15,000 all the way up to 45 to 50,000, I guess, is the best of the best right now. So it's pretty easy to get out of hand. And I guess if, depending on the amount of races you do, you'll go through tires a little bit more. And the longer distance races would probably have an effect on it. When the track takes rubber, it's pretty easy to burn up 3 tires, possibly 4. But usually all 3 will burn up. Your right front, your left rear, and your right rear will go if the track rubber's up. And it's just basically throwing away a set of tires. Pretty expensive. That's $750 down the drain when that happens. So that was my pricing for this year. That's what I made. That's kind of what it cost. For my fuel and my tires were $250 this year each. So all in all, it was a pretty good season though. I finished 6th place in points at Mohawk in my regular season from May through September. So I finished 6th place in my rookie year, which is awesome. If you know, you dream about it when you're a little kid, to think about it now that I was able to finish 6th place in points at Mohawk is just awesome. I did the dirt car series. I made it to every single race, and I finished every single race that I started that I was able to make it into. I ended up 10th place in points. So that's for my rookie season in the dirt car series. It was awesome just to be able to compete with those drivers. And you know, you pull up along some of the drivers like Billy Decker was in my first race, Billy Dunn, Max McLaughlin was in a couple of the races. And then just to pull up alongside of them it's just awesome. And like, you watch them racing your whole life, and when I was a little kid, and then I get to race with them now, it's just awesome. That's a whole challenge in its own. It would be, I do realize that in order to move up to the next level, to big block, I think the most important thing to do to prepare for next year is just keep working on my businesses and keep making money. It's the next way to move up. It's the only way to move up in this sport, unless I already had like a parent or a grandparent who owned businesses. But for me anyways, I'm gonna have to do it myself, and maybe I'll get lucky. This YouTube thing will really really boost. I mean, it really has boosted my sponsorship ability right now. I think that's why I was able to pick up a couple new sponsors, because of this YouTube. And I have to thank you guys for helping me out with that. Commenting on the videos is huge. It helps boost the video. It was my first season where I actually got to get paid to do YouTube videos. YouTube's actually paying me. So you probably notice commercials in my videos. I imagine they're kind of sickening sometimes, but I really do appreciate you watching them and clicking the buttons to skip ads and stuff, because I get paid every time you do a click. And I did forget to shut my phone off here. I'll turn that off so that way it doesn't ring no more. It's unbelievable to me to think of myself as a real YouTuber now, and to be getting paid for doing this. I am gonna try to put out more content now that I kind of showed you what I do for a living. So you know that I run the Dank Bank in Fort Covington. It's a cannabis dispensary. I don't know what I'm gonna be able to say on here without getting kicked off of YouTube, but it's a cannabis dispensary. It's licensed in New York State. We're licensed by the St. Regis Mohawk tribe. If you come to Akwesasne, there's about 30 dispensaries. We have gas stations, we have tobacco, we have all kinds of stuff like this. We have a casino. It's the next little step in our business ventures here. Because we're on a reservation, we do have we make our own rules here. The whole community has to abide by them. We all have to agree on it. We all have to allow ourselves to do this. So before we do anything, it's always a community input on it. But this is our next thing that we're doing, and I'm just glad I was able to get in on the next business venture that we have going here, and it's going to help me do this thing. But it also lets me meet new people and experience new things. This week coming up, I have to go to a conference in Las Vegas. It's the world's largest cannabis conference. I'm just hoping that I can pull some material from it and help with my marketing, my advertising, hopefully improve the business all around. It'd be great to put one of these dank banks in towns all over New York State and franchise it. I think that would be an awesome thing to do. It would be just great for the business. But for now, we're limited to our reservation here until it gets opened up and a little more free. It's challenging, especially to go against the politicians. I know all the politicians in New York State are going to have their hands in it. So one way or another, they're probably going to be the business owners that you see in New York State that are going to be doing the same thing. To be able to come from a small place like Akwesasne and be able to like kind of put ourselves on the map it's something huge. I know a lot of people are looking to this YouTube video and it's like I'm putting myself out there. I'm kind of putting our community out there a little bit. People don't really get to see the background that goes on here. We don't get to tell our own story. The stuff that everybody else sees is from the newspaper and it's always real, but I find it's always real biased. They'll put something out there and it's just, there's a half truth to it. There's only like a one-sided of the story. It's always real biased, and I'm just happy you can follow along and like we can tell our own story. That's really cool. I've really been listening to this podcast lately. It's called Running Smoke. If you can look it up. It's a podcast. It's about a guy from Ganawage and his business ventures. He made it into NASCAR, into the highest level of NASCAR, the Cup Series. And then business and politics kind of came into it. Because we're native people, we can do certain type of business ventures. Like the one he was into tobacco, and it's traditionally it's our product. Tobacco is our product. It's been in North America forever. Before settlers came across the ocean, we had it, and then we were able to use it to help us financially. As in modern times right now, we're still doing it, and we're navigating through modern business and modern life. And sometimes it's not really, for us, we don't look at it as illegal, but on the outside, we know when we start making money, of course, that they want to put their hands in it and tax us, and we're gonna deal with the same thing with this cannabis thing. The podcast was called Running Smoke, but it was so nicely put together, and I like how he's really telling our side of the story. I think that was one of the most important things with the Ganawage guy, the native guy. He wanted to really push that. We wanted our story told our way, and the way that we see things from our point of view as Mohawk people. And it's really important because he's taking it to court and he's fighting for our rights along the same time. He got kicked out of NASCAR for it, but he's going through court to fight it. And I think that's huge. We should always stand up for ourselves, and especially our rights, because people will try to take it away from us if we let them. I want to thank everybody that helped me out and my sponsors this year, Dank Bank New York, dankbankny.com. You can check out the website and check out the menu. And it's a cannabis dispensary. That's the one I've been running. We're trying to expand and grow. I want to thank everybody that stops in over there and stops in to say hello and talk racing, and we have a good time. Thank everybody at Super Dirt Week that was pretty interested in Dank Bank, and I would drive down the road there and people would be yelling Dank Bank, they'd be waving, and I don't know, it's kind of funny. It's still kind of funny to me that this YouTube thing's got me a little more popular. Me and Big Ram have this ongoing joke we talk about. They said we would say that I'm the most popular non-contender there is on the racing circuit right now. So I don't know. It's real funny to me because I'm happy to just be there and show up and go racing. Like, I don't really have anybody here that's really into the racing. Big Room does the music, and Coyote does hunting and trapping, and Falcon's just a young student. So we're not really into the racing background. Like nobody's race modifieds ahead of me. I'm a first generation racer. I didn't have a grandparent. I didn't have a parent that raced modifieds that can set up my car for me, that can tell me everything I need to do. I'm just learning myself. It's nice having the help. Just to be able to do this, you need a couple people to help you to do the labor. And I had Owen help me out this year, and he was willing to learn and listen, and he would do his own thing. It was just awesome to have that help. It would be nice to have somebody that really knows how to move these modifieds around and adjust it as the night goes on. I would love to learn how to do that, and I take as many notes as I can. I do have my cousin Shane. He comes here during the week and he works on the car, and he does wheel bearings. He'll check the nuts and bolts. We move bars around. He's really behind the scenes here, but he really makes the car go around. It's a lot of work moving this stuff around, and you have to have, it really is a big skill. It's a really big mechanical skill for these modifieds. It's kind of basic compared to other cars, but there's still there's a science to this racing thing, especially in this dirt track racing. And I'm thankful that he comes over and helps me out. He's definitely behind the scenes. You don't see him too much, but that's what makes the car go around, and that's why I'm getting to the track every week. And I wouldn't be able to do it without him. I also want to thank the fans and everybody here on YouTube for helping me out. You're making my car marketable, and for watching the videos and commenting on the videos, just asking questions in the bottom. I am really grateful for it. It's easy for me to go to a sponsor now and say, hey, this is how many people watch the video. This is how many people are going to look at your sponsor on the side of my car. And to be really marketable, I can show them the demographics of the viewers and where you are watching from. And like when you told me, when I asked you to comment where you were from, and I was amazed at how far the reach is on here. Like I had North Carolina, so many from North Carolina. I know that's a big racing country. It's also a big tobacco country. It's huge. Las Vegas, Texas, California. I had some from Alaska. People watching from New Zealand and Australia that have been commenting and that have been following along and subscribing. I really do appreciate it. And of course, everybody from Canada and New York State are typical race fans that we see every weekend at the racetrack, the dirt racetracks around our area. I really appreciate it. I want to thank the young kids that are sending stuff in, like thanks to Mason for drawing me a picture of my 87.9 car. It's awesome to get that, to have people send me stuff like that. I still find it funny walking into Walmart and like people recognize me and like want to take my picture and get a selfie with me. And it makes me laugh, but I think that's awesome that you are so into it. I really do appreciate it. And people comment funny stuff like the greatest hair in dirt racing. I thought that was awesome. I want to get a shirt made with my hair cut out on there. Actually, a haircut. You know what? I got a haircut. It's not bad though. It's still just as long, but I had somebody braid it. Yesterday. I don't know. I'll show it off somewhere. It's getting hot in here. It's still just as long. It's going to be just as cool, but I did have it trimmed up a little bit. Getting cleaned up a little bit for the dirt car banquet. It's coming up this weekend. I have to go to Vegas this week because I have MJ BizCon. It's the world's largest cannabis conference. So I'm using it. I'm hoping I can expand my business a little bit and hopefully gain a couple tricks, some marketing, some advertising stuff. I don't really know what to expect. It's my first time there. I'm gonna bring you along with me to my Vegas trip. I'm gonna bring the camera with me. I had to cut the trip short because on Saturday I have to come back to Syracuse and go for the dirt car banquet. It's my first time making it to the dirt car banquet, so I'm pretty excited about that. For 10th place, I was invited to the banquet and I'm excited, so I'm gonna bring you along to that. I don't know if you actually have seen anybody on their videos go to the banquet. I'm not even allowed to, I don't even know if I'm allowed to record or not. But I don't know, I'm gonna bring Alex anyways. He's gonna hold the camera and we're gonna dress up. We're gonna have some good food and go go meet some other drivers too, I guess, and networking and just have a good time. I've never been there, and I'm excited for it, to be able to stand there with the other drivers, and we'll see what happens with that. I don't really know too much about it. The trade show, the Syracuse trade show, is on Saturday, the same day as the banquet. So I'm gonna go, when I get off the airplane in Syracuse, I get off at 9 in the morning. I'm gonna head over to the trade show. It's at the New York State Fairgrounds. They sell suits and parts and motors, all kinds of stuff. They have an auction that happens. So I'm gonna go check that out. It should be a good time. Bring you along with me for that also. I just want to thank you for watching along and commenting. At the beginning, when I started this YouTube thing, Ruben really pushed me. Ruben pushed me real hard to do YouTube, and we thought it was going to be a good time. We were watching all kinds of stuff. We would always have a good time watching it. And when I decided to do this racing thing, I didn't think it was going to blow up the way it did. I had one viral video, a slightly viral video, and it really kicked it up a notch. And then I think the first time I really knew that this was gonna work and people were gonna enjoy it, my first subscriber that I noticed was commenting was Tom T, and he was from the Carolinas. And when he started watching, I realized he was watching every single video and he was commenting on everyone. It gave me hope that I was able to do this, and it wanted me to keep going and to show the background of racing. So I really appreciate it, Tom. It's just unbelievable to look back at the first videos and realize how shy I was to talk, and I didn't want to talk on the video. I was worried about messing up, and now I realize it's not even a big deal, and it's just, if you make a mistake, you just keep pushing forward and keep improving. Buy new equipment, like this little microphone. I really enjoy the microphone. I hope you do too. I want to thank Pete Anderson for always commenting on all the videos and just showing me support and showing me love on all the different social medias like Twitter. I'm on Twitter, Daryl M Racing. You can follow me on over there. Sometimes I shoot some funny stuff on there. Sometimes I'll post the videos up, some stats. I'll do some retweets. I'm on Instagram at Daryl Mitchell Racing. Facebook is Daryl Mitchell Racing. And I have a TikTok that's Daryl Mitchell Racing. And the TikTok's a little more fun. I get to make videos that are short, go with the trends. They're a little bit more funny. I have a good time doing it. I also run social medias over at the Dink Bank. So if you follow along Dink Bank NY, they have a TikTok, they have an Instagram, they have a Twitter. We do. And it's just me and a couple of the workers that are on there, but we're having a good time. And if you're into that kind of stuff, I ask you to follow along, and it helps out the sponsors. If you see a sponsor on a race car, it is really important that you go to that business. When you go to that business and make purchases, tell them you've seen it on the race car. And it really shows how much that their name is getting out there. Not just for my car, but all the other cars out there. I ask you to do that. If you hear a sponsor sponsoring a race night, tell them that you heard about it at the races when you go check out their product or their service, whatever they're selling. It's huge for the businesses. We're always trying to find ways to promote ourselves and ways to promote the business, the car, and the drivers. And the social media thing is just another huge aspect into racing, into the business aspect of it, and promoting ourselves and trying to be professional and putting ourselves out there to the world. My new video is coming out soon. Because it's off season, I am gonna try to work pretty hard at getting you good quality videos, and I want to show you more into my life and my daily, what I do every day. I'll take you to my job and some exciting stuff, so you can always hang out with me over there and follow along on the videos. I guess we're gonna try to push it a little bit. I was kind of nervous about having the cannabis stuff on my race car. I didn't know how you were gonna react to it on the videos. I didn't know what that was gonna entail. It's legal in New York State. It's definitely legal in Canada and Quebec. But I was still pretty nervous. I know it's not 100% legal all over the place. Like I know the Carolinas and Virginia have zero tolerance. stuff on it still. Rolling into Super Dirt Week inspection. I didn't even know what to think. I was like, oh man, they're not even gonna let me race because I have a big leaf on the side of my car. But they didn't even care. I thought it wasn't even a big deal. But I was nervous about it going into that. I know that there's other stuff like cars have had like alcohol sales on the side of their car, and I mean, before it was called the Billy Whitaker Cars and Trucks 200, it was called the Miller 200. So it would have been kind of biased, or like once, I don't know. You know what I mean? It would have been ironic. But they didn't say nothing about it, and I guess it's going to be the future for the next few years. What it's going to entail. You never know what could happen in New York State. Laws are changing all the time. For once, it kind of benefited us up here. It was just something that I thought was going to happen, but nothing. It turned out to be nothing. It just brought more people over to the trailer that I would have never expected, I guess, or I would have never met without it. So I think that's it for my video. Look out for the new ones. We're going to Vegas this week, so I'm going to bring you to Vegas with me. I'm going to go to the banquet, so that's going to be another video right after that. And I'm excited to see you, and send me stuff. Send me pictures. equalskiesmedia@gmail.com. I can read all your emails for business inquiries. If you want to advertise on the race car, if you want to advertise on the video, you can do that also. Go to equalskiesmedia@gmail.com or check out the website. You can check out my website too, darylmitchellracing.com. My TikTok, my Facebook, my Twitter, my Instagram. Check them all out. Follow along. Comment on the videos. Comment on the pictures. Comment on the YouTube. YouTube has been awesome. I had a really good time, and I know you did too. Thank you everybody for coming out and just saying hello and taking selfies. I still love that. I think it's pretty amazing. And I'll see you in the next video. Until then, we'll see what happens. And I appreciate every single one of you. Peace out. Let's go.